Would any of his good friends be there? The phone rang. "Hello," Jimmy said with a sigh. It was Jimmy's best friend Narang. "You sound as if you have lost your last friend," Narang said. "Things can't be that bad," he added. "Oh, Narang," Jimmy said, "I'm just thinking about the party. Are you going?" "No," Narang replied. "I would rather do something else." "That settles it. I'm not going either," Jimmy said with relief. Let's do some observation on above mentioned paragraph. You all noticed that a new paragraph lets you know that there is a change in who is speaking. Quotation marks surround a character's exact words. Commas set off the quotes from the explanatory material. Also, notice where the commas and other punctuation marks are located in relation to the quotation marks. A quotation may be direct using quotation marks or indirect. The mayor said the budget must be slashed. These were the exact words of the mayor if he was quoted correctly. The mayor said that the budget must be slashed. Notice we don't know for sure that these were the mayor's exact words since they are not in quotes. His words could have been paraphrased or reworded. Challenge: find a novel or short story, look at this story and find the following. A descriptive paragraph that sets the scene, a paragraph that tells about one of the characters, some paragraphs of dialogue. To show where a new paragraph begins, we usually make a space between paragraphs and indent or start the first sentence about 1/2 inch from the left margin. Now we can say that we have covered about basic of composition. But there are few more concepts which will make the writing more effective. It's the time to go for those concepts. Summary of punctuation and capitalization. In this discussion, we would be summarizing the proper usage of punctuation and capitalization. The writer uses punctuation and capitalization to give the reader signals. The beginning of a sentence is signaled by a capital letter. The end is signaled by a period, question mark, or exclamation point. These are stop signs that must be obeyed when we read orally. See how the beginning and ending of these sentences on this page are signaled. Periods are also used after initials J, T, Jones, and after abbreviations M, D. 3 periods are often used to show that one or more words have been left out of a quotation. The storm dash battered the coastal area. Commas signal a slight pause in many situations. Here are a few examples of how commas are used. To separate items in a series of 3 or more. Apples, oranges, and bananas. To use with a coordinating conjunction connecting 2 independent clauses. I went home and she went to the store. To set off an introductory adverbial clause or a long introductory prepositional phrase. After I receive the money, I'll pay you. To set off introductory participles and infinitive phrases. Seeing the rain clouds, Bill rushed for shelter. To succeed, one must work hard. To set off unessential words, phrases, or clauses. He is, I believe, a great senator. I went to Sam's house yesterday to plan the picnic, which was the first time I had seen his house. Parentheses are also used to set off additional information in a sentence. Ted bought a new car, a Chevrolet. To set off explanatory words called an appositive. Mr. Brown, the company president, spoke to us. To separate adjectives of equal rank. She is an attractive, well-mannered girl. To set up paths of dates and addresses. He arrived on Thursday, January 16, 1992 in San Francisco, California, and to use after the salutation in a personal letter, Dear Sam, and after a complimentary close, Sincerely. The colon signals the longest pause within a sentence. Here are uses: to signal a phrase, clause, or sentence which details a statement. Jaya has only one goal: to become wealthy. He only has one thing in mind: how can I get rich? The first word in a sentence within a sentence is capitalized to signal list. I want the following lunch items: sandwich, fruit, and milk. Notice how quotation marks, commas, and capitals are used in dialogue. Here are examples. Maya said, "What time do you want to go?" She looked as if she was not eager to visit the dentist. "Let's leave about 10 o'clock," Jeevan replied, "if you agree." Remember, the secretary said, "Bring your insurance forms." Notice the quote within a quote. "I will be ready at 6 o'clock," Maya said. When we wish to give special emphasis to a word, we underline it. Printers use italics instead of underlining. When we read aloud, we emphasize italicized words. Here we have finished the punctuation rules and their meaning. Now we need to look at the capitalization in writing. Here we have completed our composition section, but it is equally important to understand the common mistakes which we commit during our writing. Next topic talks about the same common errors in writing. Common errors in writing. This topic consists of two subtopics: structural errors, style and logic error. We will cover these topics one by one. Firstly, let's have a look at structural errors. Structural errors. Following points will cover all structural errors. These points are self-explanatory in examples associated to it. Let's start with the first one. Sentence fragment or incomplete sentence. A sentence must have a subject and predicate and express a complete thought. Here are examples. Can't take the day off. Missing subject. Jagan quit his job although he was well paid. Detached dependent clause. Run-on sentence. Two sentences are run together without a conjunction. If a comma is placed between the two independent clauses without a conjunction, the error is called a comma splice. Here are examples. I don't know where he went, maybe he went home. Run on. Sumit wants the job. He is well qualified for it. Comma splice. Lack of parallel structure. Similar ideas should be expressed in similar ways. Here are examples. I like singing and to paint. Change singing to sing, or change to paint to painting. The fish can be fried in butter, margarine, or with oil. Take out with. Misplaced modifier. Place the modifier close to the word modified. Here is example. He has almost been gone for a month. He has been gone for almost a month. Indefinite antecedent. A pronoun is misplaced. It is not clear which noun is the antecedent of the pronoun. Here are examples. Radha's grandmother found out that she is going to have a baby. Radha's grandmother found out that Radha is going to have a baby. When the wind blows, it makes that clanking noise. It makes that clanking noise when the wind blows. Dangling participle. This results in some funny sentences. Here are examples. Walking across the grass, a snake was spotted. Walking across the grass, we spotted a snake. You can see the planet Pluto using a telescope. With a telescope, you can see the planet Pluto. errors in style and logic. Now we will discuss errors in style and logic. Following points will be clearly mentioning the style and logic errors in writing. Every point is explained by the example associated with it. Double negative. He hasn't got no job. He has no job. Confusing construction. I didn't like the boss is the reason I quit. I quit because I didn't like the boss. Irrelevant details. The clerk, a former soldier, took my order. We don't need to know the clerk's former work unless it is relevant. Use the passive voice infrequently. The award was given by the president of the club. The active voice is simpler and more direct. The president of the club gave the award. Split infinitive. An infinitive consists of two and present tense verb form. Generally, avoid placing words between to and the verb. To carelessly and recklessly drive a car is unacceptable. To drive a car carelessly and recklessly is unacceptable. Excessively long sentences. The longer the sentence, the more difficult it is to read. The remedy may be to remove unnecessary words or to make two sentences. Inappropriate tone. The tone of the writing should fit its purpose. Informality is appropriate in a letter to a friend, but not in a letter applying for a job. The use of jargon and cliches. Each trade or profession has its own peculiar jargon that should be avoided when writing to outsiders. Cliches, which are overused expressions, demonstrate a lack of imagination. Writing that is vague, general or abstract. Be definite, specific and concrete. Choppy sentences. Having several short sentences together gives a choppy effect. Combine some of the sentences into compound or complex sentences. Since we have completed the writing rules and composition, it is the right time to put those concepts in place and implement it right here. Best way to do the same would be writing an essay. Following topic will take you through the points which one should remember while writing an essay. Writing an essay. Before writing an essay, we should understand the word essay. An essay is an organized group of paragraphs about one subject. A good example of a type of essay that many of us would write is a letter to the editor of a newspaper. Let's go through the steps you might take in writing such a letter. Choose your subject. In the case of a letter to the editor, the subject will be on your mind when you decide to write. It will be some issue that you really care about. Let's assume that issue is the homeless problem. Decide on what the purpose of your essay will be. Is it to persuade, explain, or describe the situation? You may decide that your purpose is to persuade people to do something to solve the problem. Begin writing by stating the main idea of your essay in a sentence. You might try writing 2 or 3 sentences and see which one best expresses your main idea. Do some brainstorming. Make a list of the points you might cover. Each point may be a word or phrase. Don't worry about how good they are or what order they are in. Next, number the points you want to use and in the order you want. Public health problem, compassion for fellow men, diagnose the people's problem, provide shelters, matter of having the will, causes of homelessness, job opportunities. Start writing your rough draft. Don't strain too much just get your thoughts on paper. Each point may become the main idea